You know, something that I find that's super important is, you know, the sharing the information and finding what resonates and stuff. And on TikTok, when I started sharing, like, some different videos, well, I'd seen some too, where I had gone in and watched a video that somebody had shared of a documentary they were watching, and I enjoy them so much. So when I was watching something, I'm like, well, I'm going to share this. This is super interesting. And more people started watching it. Like, tons of people were watching it. And so I shared the whole documentary, except for the parts that, you know, TikTok took down because of fucking guidelines and censorship and bullshit. The whole documentary is already pulled off of YouTube, so that's all they fucking do. Censor, censor, censor. So anyways, that video, when I was sharing and stuff, people got, the thing that I think it is that, it's just really whiny. The thing that I think it is that there's certain people like me, and there's lots of me's out there, there's lots of people like me, but we'll go in like pioneers. We'll go to places where other people won't go. And it's on an emotional level here because it is about, they don't want to be thought of as being crazy, conspiracy theorists, nuts, you know, all the labels. They don't want people to look at them that way, which is ego work. But, so, you know, they won't go and look up information like I've talked about before. You know, some people videos, and as soon as they turn it on or something, as soon as they hear the first word, nope, I'm not gonna listen, nope. It's like, what? It's so weird. So you limit yourself from so much information like that, so much information. So, you know, going in and watching the documentary when that person said, it's really, really good, you know, and I had no idea what it was going to be about. And I went in and watched it, and I'd seen other flat earth stuff, so I find it intriguing, because I find that stuff intriguing. Like, the other stuff I saw was definitely, you know, opened my mind to the possibility. This one, it just secured it in where I was like, oh, fuck, yeah, definitely, especially because it layered on top of some of the other information that I've learned. But so, you know, what my guidance had given me was how important it is. Like, I share these little, you know, 3 minutes snap of this 8-hour documentary. And how many people will go in and watch a 3-minute thing, and, you know, then they'll be like, oh, I didn't know this is what flat earth was about. I thought flat earth was just about crazy people, you know. So when they go in and see the information without the preconceived idea or the label trigger or whatever, then they can absorb the information a lot more. So then they start seeing, oh, wait a minute, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Oh, that doesn't make any sense, you know. So they start opening their mind without really knowing they're opening their mind. And the other cool thing is too, is that how much it brings people together to discuss things that are really valuable, you know, not discussing what, you know, who won what, and you know, what are you gonna cook on your barbecue, bullshit kind of conversations that people are used to having, just shallow bullshit. And then they go on to the virtual world and create the world, the avatar, the what are those things, filter face, the avatar, you know, all the bullshit. They create it on the virtual reality, you know, Facebook, all of that was to ease you in. But you know, in real reality, it's small talk. Nobody talks about anything. But so getting people to talk about real things, and to get into, it brings together two different parts. As long as people are nice to each other, you know, there's no reason to call each other names. That's not making your point, is to call someone a name. That's just, you know, that shows your inability to make your point. And besides, I'm at the point in my life is like, I don't need to convince you of anything for me to know what's in my heart, you know. If you need to know something, it's up to you to go out and look for it. It's your responsibility. And there's so many people who always want people, prove it, prove it, prove it. Show me everything I need to know what you need to know. It's like, that's impossible to do. You can't do that. You have to go out and look for what you need to know. Because when you go in, just like I talk about all the time, like they'll bring me something and they'll give me the whole story. Like it just opens a memory of yours. Like the information that you look for opens your inner memories to things that you know. That's why it's your inner knowing. You know it. Nobody can convince you of something different. The more you go out and you look into information, the more you open your own inner knowing. So that's why it's so crazy. Like people think that they could be tricked or something like that. No, when you're open and you're connected to yourself, you have an inner knowing. You have something that resonates or doesn't resonate. And discernment, you know, like what makes sense. Your inner knowing knows what makes sense. And it knows what it's here to learn. It knows what information it needs and stuff. But so many people are blocked away from that kind of stuff. You know, get them locked into their virtual world, their, you know, crazy created thing where it's competitive, like who has the better life, this crazy like Sims world in the Facebook of people trying to prove who's got the better husband, who's got the better life, you know. I mean, it just was, life was just showing people like one of those girls who was doing that. And then she's going on talking about her perfect life and her husband fucking murders her and her kids. So it's all just this, it's like a virtual world of this created world where they want us all wrapped up in there because our consciousness is just feeding them. They're feeding off of us without us even knowing. We're just sitting there glued to the TV while we're food for something, you know, and they use our energy and feed off of us. So but when you're trapped in that virtual world of distraction, you know, you're always looking at the stage they want you to look at instead of what is really going on, you know. But they've got our minds so trapped, and it's all about consciousness. It's all about this. I swear to God, this is like the solar system is a system, a body, the heavenly body. It's the body, the consciousness of us all. It's what we are a part of. We are the stars. We are the little synapse. We are the creation of thought. We are the thought. We are the thinking something through. We are that. It just seems so real that we're like pulling free from that. It seems like such a stretch because your consciousness believes so much that this is what it is. And when your consciousness gets to that place of understanding that it's more than that, and you start pulling free from that, it's almost kind of like a scary thing too, because I keep getting these flashes like going into the abyss or something, you know, like there's a safety to this reality. There's a safety to being connected to something that's controlling you. So pulling free, you know, can feel a little bit scary. And, you know, so if it is feeling like that, you know, then, you know, take your time, you know, recognize what it is you're pulling away from though, you know, recognize it might, you know, help you more quicker pull away, but it is so much about that, you know, so if they keep you just twisted up and, you know, focused on the other things, they're free energy. They create this virtual world. Now they're trying to get it to create it. Each thing is a step to, you know, what I say it's leading us into. Yeah, what they already have the ability to do, remove our consciousness, put it in a synthetic, just like Westworld. I'm telling you, Westworld was, you know, this is what we're doing, people. When we're showing it to you backwards, we're showing it to you. It is exactly what they were doing. And, you know, they're not going to be able to continue it, but still, it is what they were doing. It's just, this is all about consciousness. This is all about energy. It's all about free energy. It's all about them even selling us energy. They've been selling us natural, natural parts of Earth. Like, you know, like they want to create their fake world, but they want to sell us the part of the world that's the natural world. They want to sell it back to us, energy and air, water, and they want it dirty and, you know, poisonous and all of our things that we actually need to survive, and then create this fake food. I saw a TikTok yesterday of a girl, she was crying. I don't know how old she was because it had a thing up by her face that kind of blocked her face out. But she was bawling her head off, and she was talking about that she had just found out what the meat was that she had been consuming, and she had no idea, and how is this okay to be doing? Well, see, they disclosed that when I was a kid with Soylent Green. So I knew that. I knew that was coming. And then Planet of the Apes, fucking full-on disclosure. So, and that is another one that I grew up with. Where I was like, what? Like, you knew. Like, even then I could recognize disclosure. But anyways, I think it really helps getting people to talk about these more serious things and look at them. And then when you get that, like, little quick thing, you know, you'll watch it with more open mind. And so I am on mine. I'm putting in ones about what this reality is, because to me it completely intertwines with what consciousness is and where consciousness was created, and, you know, everything about how this whole system works. And, you know, and it all has to do with aliens and spirits and stuff. But, oh, what I was saying about the solar system and the heavenly body, and that we're all a part of it, you know, and the stars and the energy and all of that stuff. And what I had said before about this is like, what's going on here is like, in that body, there's a tumor, and this tumor is being eradicated, because not only was it, you know, being destructive to humans because we were a part of that natural world, they were being so destructive to the earth, the actual creation. So, you know, that is why there has to be this movement. That's why, to me, like the light workers, when they say about the light workers coming and stuff, that's the white blood cells. That is the light coming to, like, the ultraviolet light to shine on the disease. And that is how it's done, is everybody bringing more information and sharing, you know, opening up those lines of communication, and opening up the lines of communication for everybody to know that they are a part of a consciousness that you're being blocked out from by the controllers who have control of your mind and your consciousness. So it's so crazy. But see, I see all of that stuff so clearly through the information I have seen and stuff. So, you know, there could be so much more information for somebody to get that gives them their complete story, their complete understanding. And so it's so important for people to go out and look for what they are led to look for, what their inner guidance tells them, because your inner guidance is there to help you grow, to go through the experience so that you can grow from the experience. So it's always guiding you on where you need to go. Just a little while ago, my daughter's taking the, one of my daughters, I've got 4, is taking the LSAT this morning. And, you know, she's one of those people who's very type A, very driven, you know, so get a little anxious, like, you know, if you're not perfect, you know, who are you if you're not perfect? And I know she got that from my old self before my rebirth of who I had to become after my brain injury. But my old self was very type A, workaholic, you know, perfect. Like, that needs to be moved a centimeter. Oh, okay, now it's lined up perfect. You know, I was one of those people. And so, you know, I try and help her get over that stuff, because I know it's just a dead end, and I feel bad that she got that from me. But she had messaged me, and she was saying about, I'm so nervous, you know, what should I do? Should I go for a run? Should I relax or whatever? And I said, stop looking outside of yourself for what you need to do. Go into your room. You know, sit on your bed like Indian style. Close your eyes. Just sit there. Ask the question. Put the question out there to the universe, and then sit and listen, because it will tell you exactly what you need, exactly what it wants you to do and stuff. We have all this inner guidance that we don't listen to. And it is almost like, you know, I'm thinking about this, like the people who are more, haven't done their healing, are still, you know, got to do all that ego work and shit like that. You know, it's the lower chakras, and when you're in the lower chakras, you're on autopilot, because you're not dealing with your wounds. You're just interacting with people as a wounded being, and, you know, but thinking everything's from outside of you, thinking that it's coming to you. It's very complex how that, you know, how you go out into the world when you're not healed. because you take everything is so different. Once you do your healing, you take things very different. You know, like, okay, that's you. I don't care. You know? But in that other world, it's like, you better care. You need to change. So, anyways, everything is inside of you, you know, with the connection. And it is all about this mind, body, spirit. And all of our communication, all of our answers are inside of us, you know. And that is something that I think that everybody is going to be opening up to more, you know, because this has been a society that has been always to look outside of yourself for, you know, if you are good or bad or what other people think of you or whatever. Look outside of yourself for recognition. Look outside of yourself for, I mean, these people all posting, am I pretty? Do I look pretty today? Am I having a good hair day? You know, or what about these glasses? You know, we're always looking outside of ourselves for somebody to tell us. And it's all about looking inside of yourself. So it is detaching from that whole mentality that we've been taught. And, but all of the answers are there. You know, your guidance is there. It's always there trying to communicate. It's us, our awareness that prevents us. But to me now, it seems kind of like even when you're healed, you're so connected to your higher self that you're still on autopilot. You're just being driven by someone whose perspective is above you. You're not feeling it. You're not being driven by your emotions and your pain and your wounds. You are instead being driven by a perspective of looking above. So, but it's still like autopilot. I still feel like it is like, what am I doing this for? Like someone's telling me, okay, go do this, okay, do that. Like, but you just tuned in. So it definitely does get you to feel like that whole idea of an avatar and the controlling, you know, the puppet master of your avatar, the one who's holding the controller, the one who's sitting on the couch. Because, yeah, when you are in a more pain position, you are very tuned into your body. You're very tuned into your pain and suffering. So you're very tuned into life as the avatar, as that experience, you know, feeling that on such a much deeper level. And when you are detached from that, you know, you're sitting back and you are looking at life from your higher self, your higher perspective, the things just don't, like, things just, their meanings change. What upsets you change. What matters changes. It just is, it's such an open perspective. It just broadens your perspective so much. So, you know, and that's all in the healing. It's all in the healing. It all has to do with that idea of leveling up, of going up, of moving to higher dimensions, the higher minded, the Christ consciousness, going in and connecting with that more, taking responsibility for what you put out, what energy you put out, and putting that energy is the energy you connect to. So it's like you are bringing in what you're putting out. So if you're, you know, putting out nastiness all the time, then you need to do a lot of inner work, you know, focus on your pain. Because, you know, one thing is a lot of people don't want to focus on it. They think, oh, it's going to be too horrible. Oh, it's horrible. I don't think about that for a reason. It was a horrible time in my life, and I don't want to face that. And, you know, it becomes a monster in the closet. And then you go around and you can get yourself sick. You can give yourself cancer from holding in that kind of pain. And, you know, it develops in anger and irritable and disease. It manifests itself if you don't release it. It's energy, your energy. You are like this ball of light. And your consciousness is creating this image for itself of what it believes you to look like. And it's all, you know, your conscious creation, but it's all for your own experience. Oh, I think I just got probably dog hair hanging off my lip. But anyways, just, you know, the more that you do your healing and stuff like that, then it is so much more, you just feel so much lighter. It does feel so much more like releasing that energy, that pent up angry energy, that pent up painful energy, victim energy, whatever it is, whatever your trauma is that you hold on to. A lot of people have a lot. You know, it's not just one thing. Oh, got one thing, it's all bad, you know, because there's situations where then you've gone out in the world and you've interacted with people, creating more pain and suffering for yourself because you went out as an angry person or whatever. You know, people go out in the world and manifest themselves in all different ways to understand their own experience, to understand themselves. So the more that you spend it internal, you know, like internalizing your trauma, like not internalizing it, like holding it in, but processing it, you know, playing it out, going through it, understand yourself, forgive those that have hurt you, forgive yourself for not being more of what you wish you could have been. These are the situations that teach you how to become what you want to be. You know, so we got to release so much judgment of ourselves. But in that process, in that healing process, that is where, you know, you remove yourself out of autopilot. You remove yourself out of their system. You take responsibility for yourself. You move yourself into a higher state of consciousness, a higher state of being. It opens you up to, you're part of this whole solar system. It's not separate from you. You're a part of it. And you're eternal. You know, it's like bonus. Like, you don't have to worry about anything. There's nothing that can stop you. You are your own superhero. But anyways, I'm glad when people get on and, you know, we change the conversations to what is important and, you know, and sharing our perspective, finding like-minded people and, you know, exploring what this world is. And, you know, I think that is a beautiful experience. And I think it's really exciting. And I think it's going to become more and more like that. And, you know, it changed my life to do the healing. And it was a rough first year of that. I'm no kidding about it. Or 8 months, whatever it was, whatever they call that, the dark night is the shadow self. It's seeing the sides of yourself that you don't want to recognize. But you are suddenly put into a position where you have to see all sides of yourself. You have to see the dark sides. You have to see the sides that other people see that you don't want to see. And so when you go through that process, the dark night, then, you know, it's hard. It's hard as shit. You know, and it takes perseverance. It takes resilience. It takes a lot of empowerment to get through it. So don't feel shame or anything like you're weak or you're crying like a little bitch or whatever. You know, it's like, that's where we got to get away from judging these things, judging emotions, you know. Life is about this process. Life is about expansion and learning and forgiving and stuff, even on the grand scale of what we're going through right now. You know, if you were to go to your life review, you would see there was a purpose to all this. You know, you're caught up in the emotions of the release of it, but there was a purpose. There's always a purpose. So, and it's all about learning. It's all about expansion. It's all about, you know, the more broad, the more perspective, the more that we understand how everyone feels, the less we judge. The less that we feel that we need to hold on to things. The more we forgive, the more we love, the more we come together. So, anyways, have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.